Whoa, there's some controversy blowing up in Pittsburgh right now in the quarterback room. Welcome back to State of the Steelers. I'm Daniel. Please hit that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Apparently, according to Mark Madden, Kenny Pickett refused to play or back up Mason Rudolph in this last week's win over Seattle. I mean, what does that say about your quarterback if it's true? Mark Madden, he covers the Steelers. He works for 105.9 The X. He's been a controversial figure when it comes to covering the Pittsburgh Steelers over his tenure. Been very negative, so to speak. Some would say realistic, maybe too blunt. I don't know. For the most part, I think majority of what he's saying has some truth behind it. He came out earlier and stated that he was told that 100% Kenny Pickett refused to be the backup in Seattle. I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. And the reason why it makes sense is because Kenny Pickett didn't dress, not even as the emergency quarterback in the Seattle game. However, he was clear. Now, when Mike Tomlin was asked in his press conference, why wasn't he dressed? And he stated because of lack of reps and things like that. And then he was followed up with a question, well, why not, put him as the emergency dressed quarterback? And he said, basically the same thing, that he had, lack of reps. He wasn't clear about certain things, and he didn't get enough reps towards the end of the week to be clear about those things, and that he would be speculating. And he doesn't like to speculate. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. My thought immediately came to is like, well, how many reps did Mason Rudolph get when he was the third team quarterback that y'all felt comfortable putting him out there as the emergency QB dressed inactive? Like, it's not a lot of comfort there. You're not giving Mason Rudolph any of those reps. He was the practice squad guy. Seemed like an excuse to me. Seems like a lot of excuses when it comes around this quarterback. Earlier I saw on Twitter, somebody had made a comment stating that if you look at Kenny Pickett's statistics over the last 6 quarters of his play without Coach Canada, that it was similar to the stats that Mason Rudolph was putting in his 8 quarters as a starter. I don't think so, man. I mean, I guess, maybe the yards are no, I don't think the yards are the same. Was it the touchdowns? No, I don't think it was the completion percentage was kind of similar, maybe. But here's the thing. Results matter. And at the end of the day, under Mason Rudolph, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been over 30 points a game. The team looks elevated. The team looks happy, like they're having fun. Offense and defense are glowing about the performance of the quarterback. But to come back and say that, they're basically the same player, or that Pickett was better because of this or that. It's kind of like those Browns fans saying that Garrett is better than TJ Watt because he got more pressures, even though Watt got more sacks, interceptions, tackles, solo tackles, and he plays as a linebacker, right? That's exactly what y'all sound like when you come in saying, oh, this stat here, this stat there. What stat matters is 16 points per game average offensively under Kenny Pickett, and over 30 points per game. And I get it. It's a 2-game small sample size. But so far, in 2 games, you got Mason Rudolph putting over 30. Now, I don't know if these 2 games say anything about how good Mason Rudolph can be, but it tells me how bad Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett have been. And it's kind of like the Mason Cole situation. He comes in last season, looks like a pretty good center to me. He was replacing Kendrick Green, who was probably one of the worst centers in the history or in memory of the Pittsburgh Steelers, is who they put out there. This year, not so much, right? Now you have to think, was last year, him actually playing better, and maybe he took a step back to this year, or is play about the same? It's just incomparable to what we'd seen before. It seemed a lot better, or appeared to be a lot better than what it was. Mason Rudolph isn't putting like crazy stats out there. He's not throwing for 350 yards, putting up 3 TDs a game. He had 2 touchdowns in his first game I think he had 17 completions or something like that, 290 yards. That's pedestrian. That's average quarterback play, in my opinion. You look at this week, he didn't put up any touchdowns, put up about, I think it was like 270 yards on 18 completions. Pretty consistent with what he did last week, outside of, Deontay Johnson, for instance, when he got his wide open, throw in the middle of the field. And he didn't make it all the way to the end zone like George Pickens did. They relied on the running game at that point. But overall, Mason Rudolph just didn't kill the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't find himself in situations where he either ran into a sack and, turned 3rd and manageable into 3rd and long. That was one of the things that was brought up in the broadcast about Mason Rudolph, was that, he liked about the offensive coordinator duo of Sully and Faulkner, is that they make a manageable 3rd down for him. Those things were happening because he was able to stay in the pocket, be cool, calm, collective, and deliver the ball down the field. Again, like I said, we haven't seen him make a tight window throw or thread the needle, so to speak. But what he has done is put the ball in his, stars' hands, and they've been able to do things. I find it intriguing. What do you guys think? Is this true? And just to kind of go full circle, did Kenny Pickett really refuse to be the backup? Like I said, it talks a lot about who he is, his character, and what kind of team player he may or may not be. Is that something that you want moving forward into 2024? Let me know in the comment section. Again, hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell. I'll be dropping some film study on or film review on Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense as soon as the All-22 comes out. That being said, I'll see you next time. Peace.